It entered first when I was detected with a disease called rheumatoid arthritis, which is quite debilitating and causes a lot of deformities and creates problems in your day-to-day living. So I had to adjust to that situation, or in the language of psychology, we say cope with the situation.
Because you have published work, you have consistently written. So where do you bring that consistency from?
Actually, the thing is that my passion is so strong that it doesn't let me stop. Once something comes to my mind, I just have to write it. All of them are welcome because every emotion is trying to tell you something. We don't pay attention to it, and that is why it goes out of control sometimes. Every time it is not somebody else, it is you also who is contributing to your frustration, your agitation, your anger, your sadness. It is not every time the other person. Mental and physical health go hand in hand. Whenever there is a physical illness, there is always an emotional or mental part to it. So accept, and I would not say treat, but accept and get help for that as well. Success ideally is achieving or attaining your goals. Okay. But success can be a little bit subjective also. Like for me, if I set a goal of, cleaning the entire household alone without anybody's help, it is practically impossible for me. So taking into consideration my own limitations, I will take help.
Hi, and welcome to Soul Velocity. I am Snehal Singh, your host, and I'm excited to take you on this incredible journey where we tap into the wisdom of entrepreneurs, authors, and creative visionaries, people who are transforming the world in ways we cannot even imagine. As the name suggests, Soul Velocity is all about finding that pivotal direction for your soul, mind, and body. A place where deep, real conversations ignite the fire to keep you moving forward. Right now, I'm thrilled to bring you a special series called as Voices and Verses, 100 Authors and Countless Stories. This series is all about celebrating the writing world, connecting with authors, publishers, marketers, entrepreneurs, screenwriters, playwrights, and filmmakers who are shaping the stories that inspire us all. Through these conversations, my goal is to encourage aspiring writers, support seasoned authors, and spark new ideas that can inspire you to take you on your own creative journey to the next level. Whether you're here to learn, connect, or simply just enjoy some amazing stories, you are in the right place. Let's dive in together. Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Velocity. We are doing a special series, Verses and Voices, 100 Authors, Countless Narratives, and I'm your host, Snehal Singh. We keep talking a lot about mindset and psychology and mental health and emotional fitness. But what does it really mean? Is it really a taboo to talk about it anymore, or are we really understanding and accepting things for what they are? Let's explore and deep dive that today with an amazing personality that I know. And she is a holistic counseling psychologist and author of our latest book, Dare, and also has been a doctor MBBS with over 35 plus years of experience. So let's welcome Dr. Vandana Kamat. Vandana, thank you for being here today and giving us your most precious time. I am so happy to have this conversation with you. So yes, thank you for being here, and let's just deep dive into a conversation where let's start with how did psychology, author, doctor, everything of this come together? How did your paths intertwine?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for inviting me. And so, doctor, I was by a profession that was a chosen profession right from childhood. But psychology entered my life not as psychology. It entered first when I was detected with a disease called rheumatoid arthritis, which is quite debilitating and causes a lot of deformities and creates problems in your day to day living. So I had to adjust to that situation, or in the language of psychology we say cope with the situation. It was a kind of adversity in my life. So I that time did not have any help from anywhere. It was me who solely navigated my journey from, being a little disappointed and devastated at some point of time, and then bouncing back. It was the entire process that I could manage by the divine, with the help of divine grace. I managed it and I somehow moved on in life despite the difficulties. So after that, what happened was, when people looked at me, they thought that how did I manage that? And they told me that, can you help this one who is diagnosed latest and feeling little depressed or sad? So I started, just talking to them, and they felt better after talking to me. So I realized कि अरे this is working. If I talk something about my journey, it is helping people. So I started doing that, and at that point I decided that whenever my career as a medical officer ends, I would take up counseling as my second career. So that's how it became. And creative writing was always my passion, because although I'm a science based person, I my languages are my forte right from the beginning, especially Marathi.
Mhm.
So I had started a Facebook page back in 2019, Manata Majha, and I started my creative writing, expressing myself on my Facebook page.
Wow. So writing and you go way back. Uh, Still, I there is that curiosity in me in terms of, how did you discover your purpose? So one, definitely, we're talking about now that you're choosing to do counseling, and you pursued psychology, after being a doctor for so many years as well. But was there any other driving factor that made you choose this role?
Purely to help people like me who are having, say, autoimmune diseases, or diseases that give rise to debility, or yeah, basically debilitating diseases or disabilities. So people find it very hard to adjust with such situations, to accept and adjust with such situations. So my main motive was to counsel such people primarily.
So, as you said, writing has always been a part of your life. So, what kind of writing has it been? Is it been fiction like Manat Majha? Was it very much a realistic writing or fiction writing?
So it was all about, as the name, Marathi name suggests, Manat Maja, anything that comes to my mind. So in our daily living, we come across so many situations, so many experiences. So I write about that. My writing began with a review.
You. Hmm.
Yes, it musical review of a musical program. That was my first post on the page. I love music, so whenever I listen to any fantastic or amazing musical program, something, it calls me to write about it, and I just can't remain without writing. So that was my first write up, and then all my experiences in daily life, some funny incidences, some insights, and all that.
So, would you say that your learnings, whether being a doctor and your experiences, or psychology for that matter, has played any role in your style of writing?
Yeah, to some extent it has, because my writing is of two types. One is spontaneous, and one is I decide to write about something, a theme. So whatever I write about psychology is, at times it is spontaneous when I experience something and that clicks in my mind. Ki this thing is related to this principle of psychology. Then I put it as a short story, or I put it as a short narrative. Another thing is, there are some things which I want to write about. And I decide and I write, like how to, for example, creating mental health awareness. So those things I write up on purpose.
Perfect. Um, So, because you already mentioned, there are two sides to your writing. Okay, I want to like kind of have a follow up on that. So, how do you stay organized? Because one of the biggest challenges I find with writers is either they are not organized, or they start something and they don't finish it, or there are too many gaps in terms of completion of things. So how do you make sure that, because you have published work, you have consistently written, so where do you bring that consistency from?
Actually, the thing is that my passion is so strong that it doesn't let me stop. Once something comes to my mind, I just have to write it, finish it somehow. But there are times when something is going on in my mind and I want to put it down on paper, but at that time I cannot. So, what I do is I keep those thoughts or those ideas rolling in my mind while I am doing some other work, and later on, as soon as I get the time, sometime 5-10 minutes, usually on a piece of paper or in the mobile phones, we have the notes app. In that, I just jot down the points so that later on, when I'm at leisure, I can go through those and expand on those ideas.
Amazing. I like that because I do that as well at times. I've created this WhatsApp group with me and myself, and
Oh, wow.
I would just put it in it so that, I can review it, because at times we are either, in middle of something and
Yes.
we have something else going on, but we definitely want to expand. So yes, that works. But do you think that writing is therapeutic according to you, whether it is for the reader, for the writer? What is your take on it?
Of course, writing is therapeutic. See, in what way I'm saying is, suppose if a person has a flair for writing or the person feels something, and if that person puts it on paper, then that person feels that he has given expression to whatever he or she is feeling. So in that way it is therapeutic. Okay, then in psychology we have a concept called journaling. When people are suffering from anxiety or overwhelming thoughts, etc., at that time the person feels so overwhelmed and feels so restless. At that time also, if they take pen and paper and write down all that is coming to their mind, they get so much relief. It is a very simple technique. And journaling is done by a lot of people on a regular basis. Like people used to have daily diaries previously. People used to keep their daily diaries, whatever happened in the day. But that was a general record. This journaling can be on purpose, like people write gratitude journals. Okay, so that way writing is therapeutic for the writer also. And for the readers, it is therapeutic in the terms that, see, basically, whenever we read something, we either get pleasure, we get excitement, we experience some good emotion when we read. Of course, I'm sorry. When we read such stuff, we experience some good emotions, which adds to our well-being. And people are many a times writing their own life journeys or autobiographies, which can be very inspiring to the readers also.
Hmm.
So may it be their simple experiences which have been very enriching, like visiting some places, visiting forest or nature trails, reading about that also, it takes us to that place. If the writer has written it in that way, it actually takes the reader also through that same experience. And the person gets engrossed and it gives them the feel of being there, so the person feels nice. So that is one purpose, experiencing what the author or the writer has experienced and getting inspiration.
Thank you. You actually did answer the psychology part also for me. That was going to be my next question.
Okay.
Is there anything related to mindset that works? But let me ask you this, with everything that you do, okay, as you said, I know that you are passionate, but at times sometimes we are very passionate about something, but we are unable to make time. You're already doing so many things, okay? In that, how do you manage your time to, fulfill things that you're, truly passionate about? So whether it is writing, counseling, coaching, and you're doing all of that. So how are you managing?
Yeah. So actually, it is a little bit of a struggle, I would say. It's not so easy to manage because whatever we say that we decide time slots and all, there happens overlap, and then you are not able to fulfill. But I try to stick. Like suppose if I have planned something write, especially about the writing, I'm saying, if I plan to write it at say a particular time and due to some reason I could not, I make sure during that day at some time or at least by the next day I finish writing that particular whatever I had decided to write.
Perfect. I think that was a good one. Before the day ends, I finish what I've started, and
Yeah.
itself is a great way to start. Um, were there any moments where you felt that or experienced, what many people talk about is writer's block, like, or any techniques then you applied to get over the writer's block?
Writer's blocks are very common, very common. At some point your creativity just stops flowing because creativity is a natural instinct. You just cannot create or fake creativity, so that instinct has to be natural. So at times it just completely shuts down. So what I do is I just accept it as it is. I say, okay, now I cannot write anything, doesn't matter. And then during that time, I read books or I read other people's content on food blogs. There are some people whom I regularly follow. I read their contents, I read poetry books. I read a lot that time and I just allow myself to be in that state. I don't resist. Ki, why is it happening? And I have observed that within a matter of 2 to 3 days, maximum within a week, suddenly something starts flowing. And usually it has been the release of that block has been in the form of a poem always.
Wow. That is cool. I like the part. You're the first one ever to say that I accept. I accept that it's a block and let's move ahead or move past it. You have been writing for a really long time. So I'm sure that there are stories where your writing has impacted somebody's perspective or mind or life. Any such stories you can share with us today?
Yes, actually, when I myself had undergone my hip replacement surgery in 2021, I was not, my mobility was restricted. So, to a great extent. And I had to still continue writing for my Facebook page. So, I decided to write about the experience of my surgery. When I began writing, I named that series Hospital Diaries. When I began that series, I was thinking that why will people read my experiences? Who will be interested in reading what I went through and how I prepared myself? Why will people be interested? But I said, just let me write and see. So I wrote that series, about 21 parts I wrote. Very short narratives, not very big ones. But as I was writing, I started getting the comments from the readers on my page that this is helping us. It is bringing courage in us. That some of them were advised surgeries, replacement, or any other surgeries. And the surgery word is such that anybody gets scared. Even I myself was not mentally fully prepared for surgery, my first one. The second one I was prepared because I used some law of attraction techniques, so I was prepared for that one. So I wrote that and I got feedback on WhatsApp, etc., that see, I shared these writings with my friends, my aunt, my whosoever, and they were so relieved and they were so reassured that they were ready for their knee replacements. And one of the readers whom I don't know personally, so these earlier comments were from the people from my circle, my friends, etc. Even doctor friends were scared, like me, of getting operated. Anybody gets scared of being operated. So, from an unknown person whom I have never met personally, but she had been commenting on my write ups on the page, she messaged me saying that after reading your series, I was ready for my knee surgery, and my knee surgery got it was successful, and it's all because of your write-ups, because it helped me a lot. My fear went away, and like it was like a biggest award for me. I felt immensely satisfied. I was so joyful and grateful that day. I said, I never thought this thing will happen, but it has helped people. So that was the biggest thing.
Amazing. As you were talking, I'm also thinking that you have dealt with, like being a doctor with actual patients who have had physical illnesses, okay? And then you pursued psychology, which is a lot about mindset. And you have been somebody who is a role model when it comes to following through your passions, okay? So, what role do you think mindset plays in, discovering and pursuing one's purpose?
Mindset plays a great role in discovering and pursuing passions. If you have a learner's mindset, which is called a growth mindset, always ready to learn, always ready to learn new skills, new techniques, then a person can pursue the passion very well and purpose very well. But first of all, one needs to explore their own values, their own experiences, all that, and what has been fulfilling, satisfying. And introspection plays a very big role, I feel, because very often people have inner calling, but they don't pay attention to the things that are calling them. So nowadays, the life is so fast that nobody has a time to sit quietly for 5 minutes. So how will people introspect? So I feel daily, at least for 5 minutes, if you sit down and you can just try to see what is the takeaway of that particular day, you will find something.
You know, while I understand what you're saying, I also feel, and I may be wrong here, uh, but I feel that at times people know what they want to do, but it is that self doubt or that fear of failure that holds them back. And that's something that I've observed a lot as well. So, what is your take on that? How can one overcome that, that self doubt, that self esteem, that fear of failure, and also fear of success at times? Some people are afraid that, hey, you know what, if I do this, then I might just hit it, then I'll every time have to make it happen. So, let it be. So, what's your take on that?
So let's take one by one. Self doubt we'll take first, then we'll take fear of failure, and in the end, we'll take fear of success. Okay, so self doubt comes when you have a low self image somewhere, you have low confidence. So you need to work on that. You need to reassure yourself that so what if I fail? Failure is not a crime. Not, as they say, not failure but low aim is crime. So self doubt, everybody is gifted with immense potential by God. So we need to trust ourselves first. And what if we fail? Doesn't matter. And if we fail, we should try and learn from the mistakes that we were made. We should try and understand what went wrong, where it went wrong, what I could have done at that time. Okay, and then love yourself little more when you fail in doing something. So once you develop this kind of mentality that whatever happens, I love and accept myself, so that slowly clears your self doubt. And still, if a person has self doubt, that he or she can take help from the person who is an expert in the field. Suppose if somebody is venturing into business, so they can take guidance or help from experts, so that will to certain extent help in overcoming self doubt. And the most important thing is setting realistic goals. One should not directly jump to something huge. It's good to have a very high motivation, but we need to be grounded and what understand our capacity, our limitations, our resources, all that have to be taken care of. So once you know what is within you, what is called as internal locus of control, your positives, then self doubt part can be taken care of.
Perfect.
Okay, and then fear of failure. Again, I said part of it was said in my first. This fear is a. I feel failure is a ladder to success. Always, always. We have seen so many people. Big celebrities. We have seen. We have seen a lot of people. Like I have heard that Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, Big B, his voice was rejected by the All India Radio, and today see he's popular now mainly because of his voice.
True.
charismatic voice that he has. Okay, so there it was a rejection, it was a kind of failure, but where is he today? So failure is okay, accept failure, accept yourself with failure, allow yourself to be okay with the failure, which is difficult, but we have to. Okay, so that is it. And fear of success somewhere I feel comes out of, breaking the comfort zone. Because once you become successful, there are so many things that you need to let go of. Your daily habits, your leisure time, etc., etc. But then somewhere you need to keep a balance over there. So be prepared that when I am aiming for something, it is also going to bring these things. And how am I going to deal with all that?
Perfect. Very, very well said. Thank you, thank you, thank you for simplifying these. Uh, when we're talking about, dealing with self-doubt or, whether it is the fear of success or failure, I also feel that two of the qualities that we all need to enhance or speed up a little bit of success in our life is resilience and self-awareness. So are there any tools or exercises that you would recommend so that one can build that resilience and self-awareness in themselves?
Okay, so first I would talk about self awareness. Self awareness is being aware of the self. Okay, very often we have a self image. Image is your thoughts, beliefs about yourself. It is built mainly by the other people's opinions as you are being brought up, and what your teachers say first, what your family says, all that. Okay, so as you grow up, your self image has to change, because you need to identify who you are at the core.
True.
What are your passions, what are your thoughts, what do you really want in life? Okay, and for that what we need is knowing our thoughts, being aware of our thoughts, thinking about our thoughts, that is metacognition. So you need to be thinking about what I am thinking, which very often people forget to think, and then it is like a train, fast, fast, super fast train that goes. It's a chain of thoughts and it moves so fast, and that's why this overwhelmment and anxiety and all that builds up very often. So I would say that you should take a pause at least once a day for 5 to 10 minutes regularly. Just sit down without any gadgets, close your eyes, and just allow the thoughts to come to your mind and see what these thoughts are trying to tell you. What emotions are they bringing up? Why are these emotions coming up? Try to reflect upon that. Okay. And do not deny if there are emotions. Always, all emotions should be accepted. All of them are welcome, because every emotion is trying to tell you something. We don't pay attention to it, and that is why it goes out of control sometimes. So being self aware, for that, these silent meditations for 5 minutes also will help. Okay, so begin with 5 minutes practice, then trying to be mindful also will help. And mindful is not sitting in meditation. Mindful is thoughtfully paying attention on intention to the activity that you are doing, which is not as easy as it is said. But with practice, one can be there at least 10, 20, 30%. We can start with small activities like mindful teeth brushing. When we wake up, we have the whole day ahead. We take the brush, we put the paste on it, first, we start brushing the teeth, and we come out of the bathroom like that. But then when you do mindful brushing, you can say, now I'm taking the toothbrush, I'm putting the paste on it. Then you can look at yourself. Now I'm brushing the front teeth, I'm brushing the side teeth, I'm brushing the insides of my teeth. So this is like giving a commentary to the process that you're doing. And just 1 or 2 minutes, you can begin with that small time. Mindful tea. When we are having tea, we are either reading newspaper or we are having a look at our phone. If we can just keep that aside and pay attention to the tea will be more enjoyable, just that 1 cup of tea. So that is all for self awareness, because it is dealing with yourself. Now, about resilience. Resilience, you need to basically enhance your problem solving skills, first of all. and a lot about, again, about your self image, your self esteem, building your self esteem. Very often people go by the opinions of others, like a child is very often told, This is not possible for you, just don't even try." And the child takes it up till the age of 20, 25, and whenever he or she is trying to take up some new activity, that sentence just pops up in their mind, "Oh, should I do it or not?" That way. Okay, so enhancing your self image, enhancing your self esteem, problem solving skills, believing in yourself, then building up relationships that will support you. Because in adversities, your relationships are a huge support. So there should be somebody when you are going through something. If there are people to support you, you can cope with that situation better. So nowadays we have all virtual relationships. We hardly have any actual relationships. So taking out time to talk to people, genuine friends, continuously being in touch with them, trying to find out what is in their life, and purposefully keeping relationships healthy, viable, will go a long way in building resilience also.
Perfect. Very well said. I want to take that example a little further because the one that you spoke about, the being corrected and being told what to do.
Yes.
And I think when we're talking about today's options in terms of so-called Insta world, where people are making choices, whether it is about career, whether it is about how do I serve people and find purpose, I think sometimes there is a differentiating factor where, what does the market need more and what do I really want to do? That distance between external expectations and authentic calling. So how can one actually differentiate and find out what is my authentic calling versus am I doing this because everybody else is doing this?
So there are two aspects to it. One is what you genuinely want to pursue. And when you are doing that, we also need to, earn for our living. So if you can create a balance between the two, nothing like it. It is beautiful, nothing like it. Like you are done that way. But if there is a difference in the two, like suppose if somebody wants to become a singer, very passionate about singing, having good voice, etc. But the need of the time is such that he or she needs to do a job, and the person is an engineer by profession. So then cannot given the job give away the job suddenly and get into singing career. At that time, one should plan that I will do this job or this career up to a certain time. One can plan. I'm not saying one should plan. It is, of course, an individual's decision. One can plan that I will do this for this particular time. And while being in that profession or the job that person is doing, he should still continue with music. He should stay in touch. Do not totally disconnect. So that when there comes a time when he can just, let go of the job, leave the job, or has secured reasonable amount that he can pursue singing as a career, that time he can take a leap and jump and uh, options he can explore. But in this I would also say that sometimes people just feel that they have this urge or they have this inner calling, etc. But they need to really check it also. If they themselves are doubtful, they should check it out, whether to take it up as a career. Now we have a lot of career counselors also who can guide, and there are careers we can, those can bridge, like a person who is an engineer and interested in music can take up sound engineering and
Correct.
can be in that profession. He can work as a sound engineer, earn, and he'll be connected with music.
True. True, true, true. Agreed. Wow. Um, Okay, now while knowing all of this, okay, I know my purpose, I know, what I'm supposed to do, but yet many a times, many of us, the way, in writing, there is a writer's block. I think in life, many people do feel stuck every now and then. So what's your suggestion or recommendation for people who feel stuck in a particular moment or in their life?
Very often people feel stuck. I agree with you. But then at that time also, again, I feel that they need to introspect. Introspection is the best thing. First acceptance, then introspection. People get frustrated. Why am I feeling stuck? They get frustrated because of that also. I am feeling stuck. Okay, as I said, accept every emotions. Feeling stuck. Okay, feeling stuck. Now what do I do next? Okay, so they can think now, is it a situational block? Like a person may feel in a career, the person is not getting the higher positions or not getting paid better than earlier situations or not getting an opportunity to learn or implement new skills or whatever his capabilities they are not utilized. That can be a situational feeling of stuck, being stuck. So in that case the person can then have a word with the authorities that see this is what I'm feeling, and can try to get it sorted somehow, that this is what I feel, either give me a change of job or place me on a different project or something where my tech the skills that I have will be better used. That can be one way. And feeling general stuck, very often it just happens that don't know what to do, but at that time again sit down with yourself, and why am I feeling like that? Our mind is telling us everything. We just don't have time to listen to our mind. That is the problem. Why am I feeling stuck? What is stopping me from taking action? You will have all the answers because they lie within you. Okay, so when you talk to yourself, when you have the dialogue with yourself, the answers are going to come. We are not ready to do that dialogue very often is because the answers are not very pleasant. We know that and we need to work upon them. So that is why we are not ready to have that dialogue in the first place. So if we have that inner dialogue, we'll come to know. If you can't overcome the things that are stopping you or making you feel stuck, you can always seek professional help for that.
True, very true. Very well said. Thank you for sharing that. We have been talking a lot about mindsets. I want to take that a little bit into our writing as well now. And I want to ask you, are there any can you share how say psychological theories or certain concepts from psychology appear in your work or in your writing, whether overtly or subtly, but do they appear in your
Yes, yes, they do appear. I will tell you just one or two cases where it so happened. In psychology, we have a theory or we have a concept that a person's reaction to any situation, any incident, any conversation is more of his own self beliefs than actually what the other person says. We get triggered if somebody says something that is unpleasant or we don't like it. It is actually not because of the person who is saying it, it is because of your inner beliefs, your thoughts, what image you have created about yourself. Okay, and that is why we have a habit of pointing fingers at others. So we were told that when you're pointing, as everyone knows, when you're pointing one finger at others, the four are pointing at you. So once it so happened that I was in the market buying tomatoes, and that time, if it is low down, I cannot pick up. So I tell the vendor to select it for me. But this was at a high level, so I had only picked the tomatoes. And I got them home. And when I opened the bag, I found one or two that were not so good. The first thought that came to my mind was, how has he given the tomatoes? He could have given all nice ones when I had told him. And then on the second instance, but this time I had selected the tomatoes. So I was the creator of my experience. So that was an insight, khatak. Okay, this is it. Every time it is not somebody else, it is you also who is contributing to your frustration, your agitation, your anger, your sadness. It is not every time the other person. It is your responsibility too, the way you think. We are so conditioned like I was, because he only must have given the tomatoes. Another incident, this I put it up as a short narrative. And one more thing, can I say that? Do we have time?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, about self-love. I these days, like, I'm working on myself, on the aspect of self-love also. So females generally have a tendency that they cook in the morning, they pack tiffins, etc. And when it is their time to have their breakfast, they will not reheat or something, reheat that thing or something, and they will just take it like that and eat it. So one day it so happened that I had prepared upama, and after packing tiffins, etc., when it was my time to eat, that upma had gone cold. I just took it in my plate and I started eating. I don't know, somehow that day I felt, why am I doing this? Can I not reheat? It will take just 2 minutes. So, this is what I am not paying attention to myself. When I am not giving value to myself, this is a very small thing, very tiny thing, very trivial. But here also, if I am not taking care of myself, why will others take care of me? At least I should do that. I should reheating something that I have already cooked is not a big job. I can do that.
Which
So then I,
is do for others, though, very easy.
yeah, if,
Stop, stop, it's cold. Let me eat it.
yeah, exactly.
It's
But
stressful.
this thought doesn't come for ourselves. We just take it in the plate and start eating and finish it somehow.
Now,
So
this,
I
I
have,
that I do that too.
everybody,
Yeah,
all females do that. Everyone. So I wrote a short story. I write those ati lagu katha in Marathi, a very short 1 or 2 paragraphs. So I wrote it was appealed to everyone, men and women alike.
I can so relate to that. Wow. I love the way you're bringing, your learning, your understanding, and your experiences to your writing. So, and as you said, you have always done both kinds of writing, the ones that are,
Yes, yes,
moment and ones that are planned. So, do you see any parallels between self-discovery and creative processes?
there is a lot, a lot. I feel every person who is creative has to have had self discovery. Creativity automatically brings it. It automatically brings. If
Interesting.
it is not there in the beginning, in the journey, in the process, it starts.
Perfect. And what insights do you think, psychology brings to help, writers or creative people, especially, to tap into their full potential? Any insights that you can draw?
Uh, what the writers, insights to help the writers tap into their full potentials. Okay, I didn't understand that question actually. Can you frame it little differently?
Definitely. So, writers, creators generally always work from the space of, or I would say have been working from the space of, because we have been told that writing is a hobby. Uh,
Mm.
any creative things, like people who want to paint, who want to just write songs or sing, all of that has always been into a hobby category more. And therefore, I feel that we don't give it as much opportunity to tap into its full potential. So, do you think there is more to the psychology of a writer or a creator, where they can, easily tap into that full potential? What shift can they bring into their mindset to get there?
Yeah, same thing again. Paying attention, take valuing what you really want to do at that moment. Or if something is, it is coming in your mind, like I always say that that thing kept on knocking at the door of my mind and it didn't let me sit quietly unless and until I put it down on paper. So it happens with every writer. So of course people have other priorities and they need to fulfill them also. But they should pay, if not more attention, at least equal attention to whatever they want to express through their writings.
Perfect. You yourself have written a lot so far, and you have also contributed to our latest book, Dare, which is all about mindset to a greater extent, what an entrepreneur does. Okay. And you continue to write. So, what message do you hope to convey through your books, through your work as an author, as a psychologist, as somebody who comes from a medical background? So, what message are you hoping to convey through everything that you do?
So, can I say two or three short messages?
Yes.
Okay. So, mental and physical health go hand in hand. Whenever there is a physical illness, there is always an emotional or mental part to it. So, accept and I would not say treat, but accept and get help for that as well. Not only just as we heal the body, heal the mind also, because mind is also equally important. And there is a mutual relation. If you have mental illness, physical symptoms are going to be there. Physical illness, mental symptoms are going to be there. Another thing that I would like to say is acceptance is the key. This has come from my personal experience. I am not saying that for everyone it is easy to accept, and of course, acceptance comes after a long time. For any adversity, there are five stages. So, there is first of all denial. Any adversity comes in anyone's life. There is denial, then there is anger, then there is bargaining stage, then there is depression stage, and finally the person accepts. So, the sooner the person accepts the situation, the better it is, because acceptance gives lot of power. So once you accept, you are in a position to seek help, you are in a position to deal better, you are in a position to tap into your inner strengths to deal with the circumstances. This I am talking out of my personal experience. No preaching intended in this. Okay. Then the third thing is our mind is extremely powerful. We need to use it correctly. Otherwise, the mind is using us. Most of the times, the mind is using us. We should use the mind in a right way. So, these are two, three things that I would like to say.
I loved everything that you said. And what I also admire about you is whether it was a situation that got you exposed to again learning something new and choosing another or an additional career path. But it shows, in practicality that you have been a learner for life. You have always been observant and learning and putting your thoughts across and sharing it with the world. So I want to know from your point of view, how do you define success? And I'm not talking about professionally, I'm talking about personally or purposefully. What does success mean to you?
Okay, success, like I would say, success ideally is achieving or attaining your goals. Okay, but success can be a little bit subjective also. Like for me, if I set a goal of cleaning the entire household alone without anybody's help, it is practically impossible for me. So, taking into consideration my own limitations, I will take help from somebody and I won't feel bad. I, of course, achieve success that my house is clean. I may not have done everything personally, but my house is clean. The end result is achieved. So, knowing one's own strengths and limitations, setting goals accordingly, and being satisfied, if I would say around 80% is also achieved, being satisfied about it and patting your own back that you could do this much, because that motivates you for further adventures or further endeavors that you do.
Perfect. Very well said. Uh, it has been a very interesting conversation. And just before we move to the last segment, okay, if you could leave our listeners with one powerful thought, whether it is about mindset, about writing, or about purpose, then what would that be?
I would say acceptance is the key.
I love that. Oh, perfect. Acceptance is the key is one of the biggest takeaways I have. Second, I think for the writer's block also, that is what you said as well, that acceptance is the starting point. Accept that, okay, this is where it is. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Anything that you want to say to our listeners before we close for today?
So I would like to say, first of all, I want to thank you, Snehal, for inviting me to this. And I would like to just say that accept yourselves as you are, everybody, whoever it may be, a child, adult, young person, old people, anyone. Accept yourself as you are. Love yourself. Appreciate yourself whenever you get an opportunity to appreciate, even for small things like climbing a flight of stairs, which you could not easily do earlier. Identify those things every day. Every day we are doing some small things that make us feel, make give us a sense of achievement. If one can just make a small diary and note down that, and then it will make us feel really good about ourselves, because feeling good about ourselves, again, it goes a long way in success in everything that you do. We must feel good about ourselves.
I love that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving us your time today and for being, so patient with all the list of questions that I had for you as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all the listeners, guys, we keep talking about the mindset and everything again comes down to perspective. So as Wayne Dyer said, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. So today here is another new perspective that we have gotten for you. We hope that this helps you. And if you want to connect with Dr. Vandana Kamat, her details are already mentioned. She's been tagged, so you can follow her, connect with her, and do share your feedbacks, anything that helped you after listening to this episode. And if you could share this episode with minimum three people so that three new people have a new learning probably and we get three new followers or subscribers. It's a win-win. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you in the next episode.